A very good afternoon and welcome once again to another Blackpool Pleasure Beach Park update. It is the 8th of August 2025 and we're going to be doing another walk around the whole park, seeing what's changed across from all the different projects the park have been doing throughout the season so far. Mainly here with Skyforce, the interesting development how the ride was being closed this year. And of course towards the start of the season in March we saw how there was nothing really built up on the ride. There was sort of like bin bags all the way across where the 12 seats would be. And then last month we started to sort of see the ride being rebuilt strangely. Even though, like I say, the park said it's not going to be open at all this year. But yeah, the ride was built up. We started with the seats, then the wings, and then the restraints. And then for another 2 weeks after that we did have the front 4 seats here without its restraints. They've now appeared back on to the ride. So I would imagine if this ride is being sold to a buyer of a park or something like that, a fun fair, something like that, I would imagine it's going to start testing very soon. As to when, I'm not entirely sure. And if it already has, again, I don't know if it's already started testing or not. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see it testing if I'm around the area or in the park on the day when it is, and hopefully I'll be able to capture it for you. But yeah, it's interesting how Skyforce is now fully built up and everything, to be fair, in the queue line building as well has all been cleared out and put back into place. So yeah, maybe it's going to come back, we don't actually know, or maybe it will get sold off if the buyer comes in and likes the look of it and likes how it's running and stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure, because like I said a few updates ago, it was the same scenario with the Golden Gallopers, how again that was one of the 5 rides to be closed this year. That weirdly was built up, and then within the same week to 2 weeks a lorry came in and it was obviously sold off and put on the travelling circuit, I do believe. So yeah, interesting with the Gallopers. It's going to be the same situation with Skyforce now that it is fully built up here with all the seats, all the wings and all the restraints back on it. But also, like I've been saying in previous updates, it's obviously going to go one of 3 ways. It's going to be sold off, it's going to be coming back next year, or it's going to be coming back under a new theme. Who knows at this current stage. But yeah, Skyforce as of the 8th of August 2025 is all built up and ready to start testing if it is going to. So I'm going to head over to another project, the Gardens area, and see if they're open, because last time I checked over with that it was fully complete. So we're hoping it's going to be open today. Let's go find out. So, following on from Skyforce, made my way down here to the Gardens area, which are still sadly all closed off. All the perimeter fencing is all still here, I'm afraid. You can see it going all the way down there. I mean, it looks done, it looks completed, all the grass has grown, all the paving slabs are in, the stones are in, obviously the fountain's on, it's been on for quite some time. Even at the far end when I get down there, even all the bushes and foliage is all grown down there as well. But yeah, I don't understand why it's still shut. Maybe there's just something in here that needs to be corrected or something. But yeah, this whole area is all shut off currently. Maybe it's the wall of the fountain, because if you look at that wall, maybe they can't open it because it's just a bit too low, and then they worry about people maybe just jumping in or falling in, because yeah, that boundary wall of the fountain looks a bit low, so maybe that's why they can't open it up. But yeah, at the minute it looks completed. I mean, there's nothing on these green archways yet, so maybe that's another reason why it's not open, because it's not fully finished. But yeah, even if, say, they can't let people walk on the grass because it still needs to grow, just fence it off. Just let people walk on the pathways and put this boundary fencing just around the grassway so you can't go on it. But yeah, this is the current state of the gardens, surprisingly not open, which is a shame, because we're well and truly in summer. We're probably going to be more into autumn before it ever gets open now. Which is a shame really, because any other park would have been done very swiftly. Month to 2 months it would have been open. But yeah, still closed here, I'm afraid, the Gardens area here at Pleasure Beach. And also just noting on from the fountain, Needs to put that blue dye back in because it's lost its colouring at the minute. I'm sure they'll park and rectify that. But yeah, just head down towards the monorail support. You can see over there and see if anything down there looks like it needs to be finished off or anything. Right, so now down here then at the monorail end, the gardens, Bradley and Bella's garden area down this way. This little bit down here, last week we were showing that the grass needed to grow a little bit. You can see it's just starting to grow through, a little bit of dead spots here and there, so maybe this is why they can't open the gardens area as of yet. But as I say, just put the boundary fence instead of this side, leave it here and leave it obviously on the inside as well. Just don't let people walk on the grass, but let them walk on the pathways and all that. But I just can't really understand the full reason or have a logical reason as to why it's not open, because from looking at it straight away, it looks completed. It looks like all the work has been done. As I say, you look at it all here, the grass is grown, the fountain's on, the paving slabs are in, all the stones in between the paving slabs are in, and they've even finished all this area as well, the loo planter around the monorail support. So yeah, it all looks completed, it all looks levelled off and finished nicely. But yeah, it's just a few dead spots you can see there in the grass and all that. So yeah, maybe this is the reason why it's not open yet. But surely it's going to open soon. It has to. It's got to open at this year at some point. Otherwise, that would be quite a disastrous outlook for the park. If it's not even going to be done in practically a full year and be opened up, then that's pretty shocking, really. But yeah, this is your current look at the gardens as of the 8th of August. And will it be the same look next week? I'm going to say yes, probably. So we're going to end this unfortunately short update here from Pleasure Beach today from the Aviktas site. Of course, the other week all the demolition was completed in the removal of both the Planet Rock building and the Bowl-a-Drome building. They've all gone and all left the site now. The site was then levelled to what you can see now, and over the past week to 2 weeks I think a different contractor has now come in and basically started to get the ground ready and shaped up ready for when foundation work will need to commence. So you can see we've got the sort of brand new pole sort of down here, probably with like a boundary as to how far wide the attraction will be, and you can start to see a lot of flat sort of like soil all on the bottom here, and then moving into the centre as well you can sort of see like a raised up area that could potentially be sort of like the centre of the ride, where when it's stationary, the bottom of the sort of swing the seats will be. Because when you're on Big One, another ride, you can sort of see it's a very thin central platform that has currently been erected in the centre. As for the rest of the site, it's not an awful lot. As I sort of look over that way through the gaps in the fence there, not an awful lot over there. Currently, the main focus is of course where the arcade building used to be. So yeah, getting the grounds definitely prepared for when foundation works will commence later in the year, and of course when the ride comes on site, potentially January, February next year in 2026. So yeah, you can see a lot of clearance work has been taking place over the last week to 2 weeks, and then getting it all flattened and prepared with that central berm there you can see in the middle being carved out currently. And one final look then here at the Victus site, showing that central raised up area that I just showed and talked about, and also that flattened section there just behind the boundary pole for the ride. So yeah, apologies it's not been a long update, and apologies there hasn't been many updates to show over the past few weeks. There's not been an awful lot of changes happening on or around the park, but of course as this progression starts getting more of a full swing, there will be more updates to follow. Of course through the winter there's always lots of updates to show throughout the winter season, with projects happening across the park, from ride refurbishment, maintenance, and obviously the new ride being erected. And on the park as well, there's not an awful lot of changes happening. Of course we had Grand National reopened, and Ice Splash you can see there in the background changing into Launchpad. That happened as well. We've talked about Skyforce a little bit, how it's interesting how that's been built up for potentially being sold off to another park or coming back at a later date next year. And of course we keep showing the gardens area, but it is a shame that it's not open currently to this date. By the time I film this update and got it uploaded, it could be open, we don't know. But as I'm filming it today on the 8th of August, the gardens area is yet to open up for an unknown reason. So yeah, if you enjoyed this update today, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future Pleasure Beach updates, and I'm back again whenever I can, and of course whenever changes happen across the site in the future. See you all again very soon. This is an extension of the current update that you will just have seen of me talking about the gardens area from Friday the 8th of August. Well, 2 days later I'm back in the park here on Sunday the 10th, 2025, and well, obviously you've seen that I mentioned that the gardens were also closed off. We had the perimeter fencing all the way around this section, questioning why it was still closed, with it looking basically completed. With all the pathway, stones and landscaping all completed. Well, 2 days later and I'm in the park and it is all fully open. I have put a few picnic benches over to the side, you can see there, and I'm filming this on one of the doggy Sundays as well, so you may see a few dogs lingering in the background somewhere, because every Sunday in August the park is allowing dogs to come into the park for £10 each. So yeah, the gardens area is all open now. I believe it was actually opened yesterday on the 9th of August, a Saturday, during the park's Twilight Thrills. But yeah, I'm here on the Sunday the 10th today, and all the gardens area is now fully open. You can see all the perimeter fencing has all gone, because it would have been stood over there by the tunnel wall, showing all the work walls all still up. But yeah, they have sort of moved some of them into the centre by the fountain, because that wall for the fountain is pretty low, so they don't want people like these kids here running around falling in or jumping in, being silly like that. So yeah, the gardens area are now finally back open here. Well, I say finally back open, they are now back open. The new gardens area are back open from the former Grand Prix Helix area. Is all open finally. I mean, you can see up there we do have a black archway, that's where the cars would go in, and then up here where it says radio, you can see where the cars will come out there as well. But I will just go over to the bridge over there as well, because we can still see little bits of Grand Prix track still over there. So let's head on over there and show you little bits of track still remaining. Right, so where I'm now currently stood is where the actual track layout, the Grand Prix, would come around and enter its massive helix area around the fountain and the trees. As I say, the cars would end the ride up there on the left by the black archway, and then start the ride over there on the right where it says radio, travel around this big circle helix area before heading down to the big one. And well, you can still see here we do have a bit of centre track still peeking through this fence here, leading into the grass. So there you go, you can see there the track is all still there. That section would lead down to the big one before it makes a U-turn and then travels past Icon, and you can see the track section here is all still intact as well. I mean, you can move it, so obviously it's not secure in any way. The track section is all there. I'm quite surprised when they were doing this area didn't actually just slice them little bits of track off so people don't trip over. But yeah, the little bits of track are still here. As I said, this would have been the return leg past Icon before entering up the helix and then back into the station area as well. So yeah, it is good to finally see the gardens area now open here at Pleasure Beach after being closed for so long and being redeveloped and all that. But yeah, finally open, so that's another project ticked off here for the park, because we did have, of course, the reimagined ice spot into Launchpad opened up earlier in the season, about May time. Then a few weeks later, a month or so later, we did have Grand National opened back up again due to it having extensive reimagining and refurbishment for its 90th birthday this year. And then of course the third project was of course here, the gardens area, how it was all being last year, the Grand Prix being knocked down and then turned into this nice relaxation gardens area, make the park a little bit more tidy and a bit more inviting for guests as well. So yeah, I don't think there was really any more projects to sort of talk about now between now and the end of the season. Of course, we do have the interesting developments with Skyforce that you would have seen in this update. How it's interesting how they've rebuilt that for either it being sold off or coming back next year for 2026. Of course, we do have the main project, of course, of Victus, the demolition for the Bowl-a-Drome, and now the construction of the new ride. That is all being taken place over the next rest of this year, and of course through the winter season. And yeah, like I said at the start, you can see a dog here on your screen now, because it is Doggy Sundays here at Pleasure Beach. So yeah, thank you for watching this extended version of the update. Of course, you would have seen earlier on in the video I did mention the gardens area was shut, but of course 2 days later the gardens area are now open here at the park. So if you enjoyed this update here from the Pleasure Beach, be sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and also hit the bell so you don't miss out on any updates that the park do provide me with. So yeah, see you all again very soon. Bye bye.